Hey there, welcome back to Reddit Infidelity Stories channel. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. For more interesting stories, these simple click means a lot feature of this channel.
Low libido wife was sexting, became high libido. Is this cheating? What's going on? So this is a super weird story that happened 5 years ago, but I'm still not over it. In the last 15 years I worked on my career, became a surgeon, income increased, lifestyle improved. My wife stopped her career, we have 2 kids, she was home most of the time. Our sex life was boring, I was high libido, she was low libido. Most of the time I initiated, it was like maintenance sex. Suddenly, 5 years ago she became a sex maniac. I mean, like, she started giving me and demanded sex several times a day. Even for me, too much. A few weeks later I found out that she was sexting with a random guy from another country. Like hard sexting, she sent him nudes, close-up pictures. In the same time she planned a trip with some female friends to this country and wrote him to meet her. They made plans for meeting, looking for a hotel. The interesting thing is, this guy is a laborer without any education, divorced, has a child, from a pretty poor country. He is not good looking, muscular. She even offered him to pay for the train ticket to the town where she was supposed to be. So in terms of sex life I had the time of my life for several weeks, then she went on a short trip and I discovered her sexting on her computer. I confronted her, she was sorry, she said that it was only for her sexual arousal and compared it to reading an erotic book. It was becoming harder and harder with time, because she needed more and more arousal. She said that the planned meeting was fake and she would never do it, but she needed more stimulation and our sex life is great now. She stopped with the sexting, but the guy obviously fell in love and started to threat her with blackmail and sending the nudes to her friends and published the photos all over internet with her name. After several sleepless nights he stopped and they never contacted again. So she told me that she was sorry and stupid. I told her that I forgive her and everything was fine. But it wasn't. Our sex life came back to normal 1-2x/month after a few weeks. I never really trusted her since. I feel like it was some kind of cheating. So when she started to have high libido 4 months ago again I sensed that something is going on. This time she was into a foreign classical music artist. She even invited him into our house. I agreed, but fortunately he was a total jerk and only used her help and my money to push his career further. I checked her phone, found some mild flirting at the beginning but then nothing. He left, she somehow felt abused by him. Again, she said that it was only about the music and she was stupid and this time it wasn't sexual. Our sex life is great again, so I shouldn't complain. But why do I feel bad? I'm also afraid that her libido will go down again after a few weeks. I must add that I'm super supportive, I love her, I adore her, I tell her that she is beautiful, I really mean it, I support her in every possible way. I do not force her to have sex with me, I never did. She says that she doesn't know what's going on with her, she says that she loves me, she never wants to leave me, or me to leave her, or be with any other men. I'm in therapy because of a mental breakdown in December, job issues, resolved, and at the same time the classical artist issue, also resolved, and low self-esteem. She refuses to see a therapist, but she admits that something is wrong with her. Edit. The first time she was in another country, not in Russia, so I am confident that she didn't cheat. However, I am convinced now that she cheated emotionally with the Russian caveman. The second time, she was flirting with the artist at the beginning of her contact with him, but later stopped. He is super strict Catholic, 15 years younger, and he told her to stop, so she did. Later when he visited us, she was taking care about him all the time, showed him our city, invited him to dinners, and he used her in financial matters, took some money for gifts and didn't give it back, then left for his country. He also wrote to his friend, she found out by coincidence, that she is like a horny older woman. She was completely devastated for 1 to 2 weeks because she really did much for him and to promote him. But she told me everything and repeated many times that it was only about the music. I don't know. The artist issue started 4 months ago and finished 3 weeks ago. For 4 months our sex life is great, like 5 years ago, but not that extreme. I'm very satisfied. Every day she is cuddling, telling me that I'm the only one, that she loves me. We have sex every second day, which is perfect for me. In December I had a mental breakdown due to job issues and the artist issue, but I recovered with help of intensive therapy. I think that she has some problems with her body and that she was bored. I am a type of person who tries to understand a problem and I am not following the current trend to divorce immediately. Even if she would a guy, I would give her a chance. Everybody can make a mistake. I will try to save the marriage and I will define the limits. I already told her what my limits are. If she will cross it again, I will separate and then probably file for divorce. Thanks for all the comments and advice. Story 2. Watching a train wreck about to happen. So I normally post here with an alternate account but don't want this attached to that one. A lot of backstory here. The two things I wouldn't mind advice on are toward the end. I've been seeing a guy almost since my husband left me for the OW approximately a year ago. We've been a bit off and on but have recently, the past 6 weeks, been spending at least one night together each week. He'd informed me he'd been chatting to an old girlfriend, so I knew that, and we're not technically dating yada yada. While we were hanging out one night about a week or so ago listening to music, I was picking a song on his phone and she messaged him and it popped up. It was definitely sexual and I scrolled up a couple more texts, which I admit was a violation of his privacy, and I did apologize for that a couple days later. I got irritated and wanted to leave, but he wanted me to sober up first, insisted they were really just buddies, etc., so we went and laid down. And had sex. I left a little afterward, after he fell asleep. A couple days later, I apologized for my behavior and he apologized to me and stated it had been one night when he got drunk, they simply got carried away and started sexting. She's married, nothing will come of it, etc. He also told me they'd exchanged photographs which I had not known/seen, but he felt I looked at a lot more than I did. I see him a few days later, he tells me he's going to meet someone for coffee Sunday. Of course, I inquire if it's her and it is. Again, he swears they're just pals, she's married, etc. Well, later we're hanging out and she begins blowing up his phone since he hasn't responded to her in a few hours. I tell him that just friends don't do things like that, and I believe she is interested in sleeping with him. I'm also irritated at this point because her continual message is keeping us awake at a time when we were attempting to fall asleep. Later on, I do take a peek at their communications, and, gentlemen, it's a problem waiting to happen. All along, she's been pushing him, from telling him that it's okay if he has feelings to telling him that it's okay that he has feelings after he told her a number of times early on, but you're married. She was the one who insisted on meeting up. She was enraged at him for canceling on her a couple of weeks ago because something came up. Yes, that was me spending the night. She was the one who instigated the steamy conversation and the picture exchange. She persuaded him to download an encrypted communication app that he could use to communicate with her. I tell him I don't want to do this anymore before I leave the next morning, and he says that it's just coffee and catching up, and that it'll most likely be the last time they see one another for a while. So I say, all right, let's discuss later. Although he claims that nothing physical transpired during their time together, which I don't necessarily believe given that they were together for something like 6 to 7 hours, she is definitely pushing for him to have a personal assistant, PA, to accompany her on her business trips. She is aware of my existence and has referred to me as his girlfriend, and became enraged when she watched a video I posted of us hanging out, but she has made it clear that her husband is not aware of and cannot be aware of his existence. I believe this is a shady practice that is clearly incorrect. I even questioned him whether he would have gone to a hotel with her if she had suggested it. He said he would have. And he claims he doesn't know. This indicates to me that the answer is yes. Beyond my desire to inform the husband, I have been unable to locate any contact information for him other than his home landline. However, I simply see this as a case of a man being manipulated into having an affair, causing himself pain, and potentially contributing to the dissolution of a long-term marriage. But, of course, despite the fact that I've expressed some mild reservations, he simply isn't paying attention. I was attempting not to talk from a position of envy, but I did confess to him that I was feeling jealous at the time. I informed him that I couldn't keep going the way we were. Despite the fact that I'm stepping back and letting the chips fall where they may, I'm considering speaking with him one last time as a friend and sharing my concerns about what I believe is about to transpire in the future. Perhaps you should inquire as to what he sees happening in the longer future, as I do not believe he is thinking clearly at all. Also, any suggestions on how I might alert my husband in an anonymous manner, as well as any avenues for obtaining more accurate contact information, would be greatly appreciated. I have a strong suspicion that this isn't the first time she's cheated on him, and as someone who has been cheated on myself, I believe he is completely entitled to know. And please understand that I am not implying that my friend is an innocent victim in this situation. However, I believe he is resentful of her marriage, and I'm wondering if I can prevent him from making a grave error in judgment. I'm not sure what happened before Sunday, but all I know is that they've sexted, and it was absolutely the last thing that happened.
Thanks for watching the video. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel.